All right, we're back for round two, Lord of the Rings Megadraft. We have our round one winner, both two round one winners, but Rafael, whose draft we followed, taking on Miranda, who's the other green drafter. So sort of a mirror match here. The only two green drafters, and they both end up winning the first round. So they figured out that green was the place to be, and very 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 similar decks as far as the Abzan legends sort of split cards across all three colors. And we got Mitch looking at Raphael's hand. Looks like he took a mulligan. What's he got? Or what's he looking at
Mulligans of
now?
the Shire, two great halls, an envelope, lots of good mana, but nothing to play.
No.
Now there's a plant in a swamp, bottoming many partings, even though he needs to fix it because there's nothing to play. There's no way to play the many partings until the card that he just drew for us. Besides that, we got Frodo, King of the Oathbreakers, and Banished from Madoris, and the Golem.
Yeah, Frodo's going to be a bit of a problem here. So Miranda has a bunch of black and white cards, but no white mana. So was not able to cast the white 2-drop last turn, Eastmark Cavalier, but now she can cast a Uruk-hai Berserker or a Dunland Crebain. Most definitely it's going to be the Uruk-hai Berserker because the Dunland Crebain would just be fed to the Frodo. So
He's gonna speed run the Tempting the Ring here because he's got two more legends with Faramir and King of the Oathbreaker in hand.
yeah, and I mean, one power creatures cannot basically be played by Miranda until this Frodo's been dealt with. So, I mean, the only one in hand is the Dunland Crebain. So, the Eowyn, and she's drawn her own Frodo Baggins, but three white cards and no white mana. So, has a gore bag of minus Morgul that could be cast this turn. Again, the Crebain would just be fed to the Frodo, so that's pretty undesirable.
We're going to note that Raphael won with extremely easy cards pretty early, and it's completely different cards here than what he's starting with, and this is still extremely strong.
Yeah, we didn't get to see a Frodo start in either of the two games. Miranda does have two Frodos as well. I don't think the power level of her gold cards is as high as Raphael's having. We know he has the two Arwyns, the Old Man Willow, and things like that. But here it's just the mana, right? Would have been able to deploy more things, and now gets a 1/1 token, and yeah, this is going to spiral out of control here. I mean, damage wise, still just taking one until another legend shows up, in which case it starts becoming four a turn. But the looting and the board presence, just the quality of the creatures being played. Okay, so here's an Eagles of the North, which can go get a Plains, but just can end up casting an AoE that could give something first strike. Like, she can keep afloat here, but this Frodo on turn two, followed by Legend into Legend. Does he have another Legend coming down the pipe
Oh
here?
yeah, the Oathbreakers. It happens to be a legend, but it also happens to be a bomb that you have to deal with, so not looking good.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty frustrating here for Miranda, who again kept a hand with, at the time, only one white card that was uncastable, um, and has drawn two in the interim. Just trying to.
It's gonna get a 1/1. Also, it's not just a bomb on getting you to level 4. It's gonna trigger Faramir as well.
Yeah, it's creating board presence here. So just in case, if this Frodo does get answered, just has a board full of things going on, and Raphael says, I don't need to take damage. So let me just put my one in front. I'm getting another one anyway. And I'm playing this other bomb here. So,
Gollum
okay.
could have blocked, but of course didn't need the trigger from Gollum leaving the battlefield to get level 4.
Yeah, this is gross. And unfortunately, Miranda, despite drawing up planes, cannot even cast her own Frodo because it's just, there's going to be some Frodo on Frodo violence that will not be favorable for her if she plays her own Frodo Baggins. Now, looking at just a bunch of cards that are not doing it here. A Crebain that's going to get fed to Frodo, a Frodo that's going to get fed to Frodo, an Eastmark Cavalier that's just going to sit there. I guess figures plays Frodo to get the loot and maybe finds a removal. That's possible. Yeah, plays Frodo. Gonna target the Berserker. Gonna try and loot, I guess. And maybe draw a black removal spell she has. I didn't. We did look at everybody's pool. I don't remember what the removal situation here was, but it's drawn a Sauron. So pretty dang good card. Just not sure if it's gonna be good enough here.
Well, with the line draw, there's Eagles of the North coming down, so more danger.
I think Eagles of the North is actually almost worse because it makes Frodo 2 power and be able to block by multiple things.
That is true.
It's almost worse.
Just enables the others. Maybe you don't swing with Frodo if you Eagles. Just swing at the others.
Either way, it's a tough road here. So she finally did just play the 1 power creatures. At least it's something to not take damage from the Frodo. Even if they're just creatures getting fed to it. It's just an unfortunate spot here. It's like playing that Frodo on turn 2 just makes everything so awkward for Miranda, particularly because she had mana trouble as well. So the mana trouble compounded with just the pressure that Frodo puts if you can follow it up with Legends, which he did very easily, makes it a tough spot here now.
His choice is banishing from Adoris. Gonna use it on Frodo here for full mana.
Okay, just let's get this Frodo out of here.
Salute. Slip on the ring.
The bird is going to have to block the Frodo. Going to take 3. I mean, Sauron's going to come down. But without the Frodo there, it's not going to get the ring tempt to really get it going. I guess you can loot again. This Berserker it's useful to have right now. Like it's sort of Berserker with the first strike is allowing at least her to be doing something productive with her turns rather than just playing cards that aren't affecting the board. But let's see what happens here. I'm gonna give it Vigilance rather than for first strike.
Rafael has a combo. I haven't actually seen Slip on the Ring and Gollum. Gollum, when it leaves play, tempts you. Not that you need that much tempting here.
I've done that before. It's fine. It's okay. I mean, if you have 2 golems for 1 black, you can just ring tempt. If you got 2 golems, but all right. Rafael just takes it. He said, "I'll take the 3. I'm okay with my life total." Like he's got the banish here. Drew banish from Edoras. So the Frodo section of this misery has concluded. Was about to cast a second copy of Gore Bag, which would not have really been very useful. I had it dragged almost to the point where it was getting cast, but not quite. So does Raphael have something to get the ring back here? He just has the first strike
Slip
now.
on the Ring and Gollum eventually, but Eagles looking pretty good with no flyers to defend here, giving everything first strike too.
Yeah, he could just attack all pretty much if he wants, or if he wants to keep his board 100% intact, he can just attack with the King of Oathbreakers. No, he says, I'm going to make your life difficult. So there are double blocks possible here or multiple blocks. He could triple block one of the ground creatures, but here comes an Elven Chorus, but that's not going to do enough. Sauron the Necromancer, good card, but again, facing down 6 in the air with no answers here. It's a little rough. Gonna keep looting though. The loot found her the banish last turn, so. Alright, here's an Isildur's Fateful Strike, so that can get rid of not the King of the Oathbreakers, but the Eagles. So she does get to at least get another draw step and perhaps another loot next turn. You said Raphael slip on the ring here?
Slip on the Ring, which is weirdly extra surprise damage.
Yeah, is she gonna? The question is she gonna use the removal right now or gonna wait? She's gonna cast the Sauron. Actually, interesting, and just take 6. I'm surprised didn't just go for the removal there to herself alive. But now the slip on the ring on the Golem is actually just gonna make it lethal here.
3 extra damage.
Yeah. So interesting to see if she wouldn't have tapped out and just left open the removal. If he would have gone for that, if he would have gone for the same thing, and then in which case she could have blown it out potentially. So if he cast the slip
There's
on the
no
ring
Rafael.
first. That would have been interesting to see. So she has a similarly horrifying mana base on first glance here that Graf does. So she's got the 6/8/6 mana base in favor of swamps. But does have triple Generous and double Eagles of the North, Troll of Khazad-dûm, triple Woes Pathfinder. So the fixing is there. It's just much like I said about Raphael's mana base. I'd be very nervous submitting a deck with those here. And
Well, you've got the land cyclers keeping it
yeah,
simpler.
yeah,
That
yeah,
would be great help.
yeah. It's just we saw there really needed the white, and didn't wasn't able to get the white early. Although with the start that Raphael had, even if she got her planes a couple turns before, it might not have been enough. That Frodo was still going to die to the other Frodo.
Turbo Temps that game had nothing to do with what we saw with the Arwen and Call of the Ring and Bowmaster shenanigans game one.
I mean, a turn two Frodo Baggins in a deck that supports it is one of the scariest turn two plays. Like it's up there on its own. If it just comes down and you don't play another legend, obviously not as scary. But as soon as honestly, as soon as you play the first legend and it's a looter, that it's going to find you more legends if you don't already have them. So I was doing a little bit of sideboarding here, bringing in. So she was not playing her copy of King of the Oathbreakers in her deck. Decided to bring that in now. Took out looks like a Westfold Rider. Took out Westfold Rider. Didn't see any artifacts or enchantments. I guess she was her game was still going on when Raf's game ended last round, so she didn't see as a Call of the Ring. But
They're planning to get into the finals here.
yeah, so
Both looking for
one of these players will be in the finals, looking for their first league win. Our other semifinal, I believe, is Michael B, who's also in his first league, so has not won a league against. I believe it's Sawyer in the other bracket. So we had three of our top eight have not won a league yet, and all three of them are in the second round. So we got a 3 out of 4 chance to crown a first time league winner. So very exciting for one of those players here.
Go Ralph. Just kidding. I'm impressed.
Well, he was your teammate in the team league. So
Yeah, I don't want to jinx it, but my teammate in the first team league won his very next league, and Ralph was my teammate in the last league, which was the team league.
you just have that effect on people.
I jinxed it. All
Well,
right.
I mean, we've seen Rafael do well. The last time he was in top eight, he made it to the finals. He in Phyrexia All Will Be One. He had that deck with I remember 3 copies of that green red rare Miklos. It was a 3 mana 4/4 with like 4 abilities. He had a bunch of those.
Oh, yeah.
Had
I
a
remember
very
that.
very good showing in that top eight. Came up just short. But he's looking here with his multicolored deck, and it's funny that we got these two, the only green players, the only true 3-color decks here in this mirror match, and they're the ones that made it to the final, or not to the final, but to the semifinals. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting.
Green, yeah. I mean, 2 Arwens being opened up, 4 Protos at least. Maybe there was more.
Yeah. So taking
It's
out
fun how-
taking out stuff like Orcish Medicine, just didn't see a lot of instant speed interaction that would make that necessary. She's going to be pretty careful here. Um, this these games are very important. There's a reason why we don't have timers for the top eight. We want people to feel like they have time to really make the right decisions because everybody's a good player and everybody's going to be in tough spots here. So
Yeah.
especially with a deck with a lot of moving pieces like this, multicolor, have to make everything click. I took out the Morgul Knife Wound at the end of it here. A card that
Take a long
was
We're paid by
was
the hour.
a card that was not up there with the rest of the black commons most of the time, but it's still castable. But all right, so has to have Woe's Pathfinder in hand here, which is gonna be pretty helpful to the rest of the game. Not too much other action in the early game though for her. Got a Sam's Desperate Rescue in case it dies. Fog on the Barrow Downs, a Generous Ent, and just plain. So no swamp, but has the World Pathfinder here. And a
Rapid
Gothmog.
Bind, Forest, or this card right here,
You
Great
got a,
Hall.
you got a Frodo?
Proto and Column. He did not have a play if he didn't get a land until Inherited Envelope.
So Miranda can actually cast Gothmog here, which, I mean, the 1/1 Death Touch is just fine with having to block Frodo, I'm sure. Though she also has a Fog on the Barrow Downs that can stop Frodo from attacking, but it'll still trigger the ability on Frodo, and then you could put the ring on something else when a legend comes in. But if she wants to
Well, Rafael
just,
Envelope, Faramir, Gollum, Ent's Fury, and he just drew a generous Ent for turn, so he's got a couple choices here. Arwen on 3.
let's go to
Uh,
Arwen. Oh boy.
yeah, if that Grey Hall did come down, as I said, he had no access to green until Envelope gave him access to green, but now he's got a Frodo and a choice to make.
Yeah, so he's got actually, Miranda's got a really nice start here. This is one of the better things you could do on turn 4, or well, a better things you could do on turn 3, really. So notably, Fog on the Bower Downs does not stop activate abilities. So even if you decide to Fog Arwen to get this indestructible creature out of here, it can still activate its ability. Giving Arwen a read there. I'm sure she's not pleased to see something like that on the other side, because Rafael got past the Arwens like reasonably, like not late, but they weren't like pick 1, pick 2. They were like pick 4, pick 5. So it was just misfortune that they were sitting on the opposite side of the table and it was going the other direction. So it was probably open right next to Miranda both times. The
So
Arwens.
Arwen's ability can be activated, you said, even if it gets locked down. So Ralph's
Yeah,
next turn might be an Envelope, get a forest from Generous Ent,
it's
and then
been
he
a,
can use the
it's been a
ability.
while since they made a pacifism that did not stop you from using activated abilities. Most of the time now they all do. Almost all the ones we see now in the draft sets they stop it from activating as well. But this one does not. It just says attack, cannot attack or block, and it makes it into a spirit instead of its
But
other creature types.
buffing Proto to a Tooth 4 isn't exactly great, though. You
It doesn't
having
help. It doesn't help with this 1/1 token, and we know Raphael does not have too many ways to get stuff off the field. But you did say he has an Ents Fury in hand. Once he gets a green mana, could get the Gothmog off the board, which then allows.
Well, envelope is in hand, and Generous Ent is also in hand, so he has the
Okay.
green mana eventually.
Okay.
He could set next turn and fight. Depends what the mana's gonna do, I guess.
Yeah, there is a Sans Desperate Rescue here to get back the Gothmog, but I think right now he needs to be able. His game plan is centered around Frodo right now, and he needs to get either this token or this Gothmog out of the way, so as Frodo can start attacking. He can find more legends, and he can climb up the ring ladder. I have to think
With
that's what he
Faramir in
wants to
hand,
do.
we saw what happened with Faramir and Frodo last game.
Yeah, well, we saw Faramir with Call of the Ring too, just take over in round 1. Faramir, it's such a high ceiling on that card. So Fog on, looks like Miranda's going to cast Fog on the Barrow Downs here. I mean, it doesn't really have much else to do. It is going to be on Frodo. Just it's one less thing to worry about, like the fact that Frodo can potentially eat creatures. Just not interested in that. He says, "I'll deal with the Arwen. I'll fight through it. It's not really, no real way to deal with it right now, but yeah."
He chooses to cycle now instead of envelope into cycle, so he's 3 mana up to, or I guess it works out to the same thing.
Well, he gets if he plays envelope, it's the same 1 mana, right? That I'll have
Yeah,
left
it's the
over.
same thing. Golem is castable without envelope first because of the Great Hall.
Might do that to get the loot on Arwen because you could just send Arwen in because of the indestructible just for the loot. Yeah, looks like that's going to be the decision here.
Oh yeah,
I guess the envelope would have ring tempted as well.
already at level 3. Just Frodo things.
Yeah, that like I said, if you support Frodo, it's one of the scariest 2 drops in the format, and that's including rares.
Oh boy, that's a top deck. Rise of the Witch King gets an Ent out of the graveyard if, for the price of a Frodo Witch. How much do you need Frodo when you're at 4?
Once you get to 4, which he'll be at as soon as he casts the envelope or another legend, he'll be good to go.
Or Gollum dies. So
So Miranda can just cast her generous ant here, just make a big dude. Um,
sorry,
deciding if
there's
she
also
wants to do something else.
Landerval. Also, Landerval could be. Maybe Landerval's better because the end runs into Death Toucher. Landerval just went to the graveyard. So
Yeah, well, Landerval doesn't match up well against generous ant because the ant has reach.
oh, she have an ant coming.
Yeah, she has generous ant. Could also play Sam's Desperate Rescue and another um, Goth Monk here, but just gonna play the generous ant and just gonna have to take this beating from Arwen or put the 1/1 in front of it. But yeah, with the ring at 4 now, Frodo can be gone.
Um, Arwen is the ring bearer and has indestructibles. So
Yeah, this is just guaranteed damage unless Miranda wants to feed bodies to it. And now getting a 1/1. Yeah, so even though you're at 4 on the ring, you could still get Faramir triggers, even
look at
past the 4. So you could just ring tempt over and over and over again. Uh, Even though it's not getting you higher on the ring ladder, it is triggering your Faramir.
well, if Rafts keep in the Mulligan stage, I would not have thought that this envelope would be discarded eventually, but it's not needed. You're at level 4, and it's got the colors down.
Has he drawn a swamp or?
Oh, yeah, I'm wrong. Actually, I'm just completely wrong. Rise of the Lich King is not castable because it's not legendary. So
Yeah, I was gonna
the
say,
Rise of
does
the
he
Lich
does
King
he
is not
does he have a yeah? Does he have that yet? All right, so looks like she's gonna get
like the
some looting on here with the generous ent. So not your usual ring bearer here, but wants to be able to attack. It can't really block anything. Like it can't block the ring bearer, so I might as well just
as,
attack with it with the
as I
ring.
was admitting I was wrong. A swamp was drawn, so I'm wrong on top of me being wrong. Nobody listened to
All right, well I'll continue to listen to you since you'll be telling me the contents of his hand. But yes, he has a swamp, so Rise of the Witch King can come in and get a generous ent into play. Um, I mean, let's see what he decides to do here. Just
Yeah, it's just
Arwen being
Enspear.
the ring bearer at 4 is just that by itself with nothing else is just borderline oppressive on its own. You have an indestructible ring bearer on 4. Like it's
Jesus.
kind of infuriating to play against. Imagine. All right, so here's Rise of the Witch King. Now we're gonna see a 1/1 getting sacrificed here for Miranda, and then probably the Frodo.
Remove Frodo is more valuable than the 1/1.
I mean, left Frodo in just because of the fact that every time a legend comes in, it's another 1/1.
And Ladrival is a legend, but there's a reach creature,
Yeah,
so
so he says this
going.
1/1's not doing basically anything. Every legend I find is an extra 1/1, so I'm just gonna keep Frodo around. Like, why not?
Just hanging around.
The repeated 1/1s is more valuable than a single 1/1. The possibility of future 1/1s. All right, so Arwen
Fully
coming in.
tempted, fully tempted, and Rapjaw is coloring. And now I go torment the Golem.
As if he needs the Call of the Ring, but he seems to be doing fine without it. But so Miranda can either recast Gothmog that she got back, or Bill the Pony here, which will get some food, it'll gain some life. That's going to be needed because of Arwen.
Do you coplerize that card?
Which one? Bill the Pony?
The one, yeah.
It's I would say it's the second ranked Kofflerism in the set.
Okay,
Bill the Pony.
that's some life at least, and a
Yeah,
blocker.
it's life.
The blocker is gonna have to sack itself though, but
I mean, I don't think she's planning to block just yet. She's at effectively 17, so doesn't have to block this Arwen just yet. I mean, eventually might have to. And there's very limited answers. I mean, I guess banish from Edoras Exiles, right?
It exiles, yeah.
Yeah, so Banish from Edoras would be the best answer. I think she has running two of them. Has another Fog on the Barrow Downs as well, which would be of use. But the thing about Frodo hanging around is that as soon as another legend comes down, you got a new ring bearer. So the ring will keep on ticking here,
And one
even if the ring bearers are dealt with.
not a great spot for Miranda.
Yeah, it's tough, and I mean, she's playing her deck, she's playing her cards, she's enacting her game plan, but just Raphael's enacting a bit more of a scarier game plan here. Gonna
That
loot.
great all top deck on turn 2 was everything he needed because he just had white. Instead, Frodo came down right away.
Well, that's what you gotta do sometimes. So just gonna double block here. Gonna trade off Ents here using the build a pony ability. Does Raphael have some recourse here? Okay.
He's using Arwen.
Okay, he's
So
actually
Arwen's
gonna
going to drop.
use the Arwen ability here. I mean, this is gonna kill off. I think it's worth it to kill off the generous end. I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, you also have another Arwen in the deck somewhere, so who really cares?
I mean, your Arwen is now like mortal. Like she's now like still a good ring bearer, but not like this is not unbeatable here. Gonna get rid of that goth log here.
Going to get scary real fast because there's the Ent Fury to fight as well.
Yeah, so I'm not even sure if that was worth fighting over because it was still a trade, right?
Which
Oh,
one?
getting rid of Bill the Pony, yeah, it doesn't have any recourse now. It's just gonna unfortunately end the game here because Arwen, again, we saw it in the first round, paired with some other cards. We see it now, Frodo Baggins, and we see Raphael making his way to the final. So congratulations to him, and we'll be back in a little while to see him compete for the league title for Lord of the Rings League.